Well, hello, boys and girls. How are ya? How are ya? I'm here to introduce to you your favorite teacher. Miss Martin is here to teach you a little bit about rounding. Hi, guys. I came a little early to church so that I could use this fantastic board and teach you some things about rounding. But on the way, I had this huge disaster. I went to the Piggly Wiggly with $20 in my pocket. And I got up to the counter and the lady said, I bought some stuff for supper, and the lady said, that'll be $23.25. And I said, what? She said, that will be $23.25. And I said, well, I only have $20 in my purse. So I had to put my Reese's peanut butter cups back. It was all. And it was so embarrassing. Have you ever done that before? Just super, super duper embarrassing. I thought to myself, boy, wouldn't it be nice if I had rounded, if I had estimated when I went through Piggly Wiggly, and I thought, okay, this is going to be about this much, and this one's going to be about this much, and this one's going to be about this much, and I added that together so I would make sure that I had enough money in my pocket. It's so much better than being super embarrassed. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I have learned my lesson. Math is so important. Math is so important, and rounding is so important when you're finding something that is about as much as something else, right? So we've done a little exploring last week. Today we're going to look at a problem on page 37. So if you can go ahead and turn to page 37 in your book, we're going to think about developing round numbers. We got a huge number to look at. It's about this guy, this company that developed a video game, and they spent $117,290. Can you just wrap your mind around that one? That is a lot of money. Let me get this bigger marker. $117,290. Wow. And it's talking about two kids who rounded that number. One rounds it to the nearest 10,000. I think that was Mia. So I like to keep things a little organized because I get confused if I don't. So let's find, I'm going to put 117,290. I'm putting Mia's name here. And there's this other kid named John. And John is rounding the same number to the thousands place. So first, let's find the 10,000s place for Mia. Not the ones place, not the tens place, not the hundreds place, not the thousands place, but we're looking at the 10,000s place. John wants to round his same number to the thousands place. So we got not the ones, not the tens, not the hundreds, but the thousands place. I think it might be easier to round to the thousands place since we've been doing that for a lot longer. You know, you guys have, that's just a smaller value place. So I'm going to start with the thousands place, okay? And I know that one way to do that, we talked a little bit about last week, is to use a number line. It's really important to know where these two numbers lie, where this number lies between. What two numbers do it lie between? Where does it lie when we talk about thousands? So I'm going to start with this number, and I have 117,290. So I have to think, okay, in order to say 117,290, I have to say 117,000 first, right? Don't I? I do have to say that. So that has to be the thousand that comes before this big old number. So that is the first number I'm going to write, 117,000. Then I have to think to myself, okay, if I'm counting by thousands, the thousands place is what increases by one. I'm counting by thousands. We got to go up 1,000. So I know that this number comes either between 117,000, excuse me, and what comes next? What thousand comes next if I'm counting my thousand? You're right. It's 118,000. $118,000. Wow. Now, how do I figure out which one is it closer to? How do I figure out which dollar it's closer to? Well, you know that we have to go next door to the greatest value. And we have a 2 here in the hundreds place, and you know that there's a rule, right? What is it?
4 and down, rounds down, right? 4 and down. 5 and up, round up. 5 and up, round up. So so I got 200 here. It's much closer to $717,000. So John's number, rounded to the nearest thousand, would be $117,000. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let's go to the harder one. I just think it's harder. Which got a greater value, you know, to find which. So now we're thinking about using the same strategy. We're going to use a number line once again. And we have to think about what two 10,000s does this number come between? What two 10,000s? So I know this number is probably going to stay the same if I'm looking at putting this first number. I know that I'm going to say 110,000 because that's got to be first. I have to say 110,000 before I say 117,000, right? So that has to be my first 10,000s place. 10,000, it has to be the first. So what comes after, if you're thinking about 10,000s, okay? Think about 10,000s, and so this number, which is in the 10,000s place, if I add 10,000 to that, we're going to have 120,000, okay? So let's say 120,000. Those are the two numbers. Those are the only two numbers that it could possibly be. So this could not round to, if we're talking about 10,000s place, this number couldn't round to any other number. So what do? Just like we did over here in the thousands place with John, we're going to go not to the hundreds place, but to the value, to the place to the next, the position to the right. And we see the 7. Same rule applies. 5 and up, round up. 4 and down, round down. 5 and up, so 7 is more than 5, right? 5, 6, 7. 7,000. So this means that we're going to round this number, one more, up to 120,000. So Mia, rounding to the nearest 10,000s place, is going to round to $120,000. John was rounding to the nearest 1,000, and we rounded down to $117,000. Okay, so using a number line is just one way we can do some rounding. And then you won't be so embarrassed at the pig.